Hi, everybody. This is Carol at True Self Unmasked. I'm going to keep it brief today. I want to help people see the connection between their frequency and their dating choices or who they're attracted to. And nothing is right or wrong. You attract who you attract at the frequency that you are. But sometimes when you're disappointed with the person that you're dating, it is a good time to take a look at your own frequency. And what does frequency mean? Frequency means your mood, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your beliefs, the programming that runs you, the programming that you run on, whether it's known or unknown. So one of the programs I'm apparently running on is I don't go by outside appearances, although they can be very attractive. I tend to fall in love or fall in interest or like with men that carry themselves a certain way, but also how they treat me and how they speak to me. I go head over heels. My brother, on the other hand, he could go by a picture. I mean, it's really, for him, it's how you look. And it's very interesting because looking at the electromagnetic spectrum of visible light, of what is visible, the amount that we can see is less than 1%. It's even less than 5% of 1%. So the amount that we don't see of visible light is 99.997%. And so that's probably why I don't go by just sight alone. I go by the energy or how it feels. And I'll give you an example. I used to work at a school for children with special needs. The school had mostly boys, and they were about 6 to 10-year-old, 6 to 9-year-old children with special needs, mostly autism. I became fast friends with one of the teachers. The teachers there were very talented. They were all skilled at working with these children who could sometimes be difficult to work with. They would test the physical boundaries of the school, and they would also test mental and emotional boundaries and had to be taught how to navigate, how to live in the world without hurting themselves or other people in mind and with their emotions and even with their physical bodies. So it was a beautiful school. And in that school, I met two brothers, and they were so not alike. But they both had an athletic look. One was very tall and fit, and he looked maybe more like a basketball player. He could probably also have been a football player. While the other one was a little bit shorter and rounder, but not really out of shape. He was just not as fit, and he could have passed for a football player. But what I liked about them is that they were so firm with the boys, but they were still kind and caring, and you could tell that they really enjoyed their job. They spoke with love to the boys, in kindness, and they were very professional, and they were, I know, a great influence on those children's lives. They were a great influence on my life, and I know most women would have gravitated towards this very tall, handsome one. And I just was never, there was something about him that I just, even though I didn't know him that well, I was the new girl on the job, I was never attracted to him. I just looked right past him to the other one who was a little bit out of shape, but he was so nice. He was genuinely kind to everybody. And it was him that I noticed more in the classrooms, talking to the children with so much. They were both assistant teachers, talking to the children with so much kindness and respect, professionalism, and still encouraging them to grow, being firm with them. And when they needed to be talked to very firmly, they did give them the business, but they never yelled. And I mostly focused on the shorter one. He never yelled. Now, I was aware that the taller one was also kind. I just didn't witness it as much. But I know he was. I never heard him yell. I heard some of the women teachers yelling at the children, but I never heard these two big, strong men yell at the children. But they had all the respect that you could want from a child. And So it's very interesting. I was attracted to the one that was shorter and maybe less attractive from the outside, but he was so attractive on the inside. And he wasn't interested in me. There was an assistant teacher that he liked, who was very pretty, very shapely, and they ended up getting married, which is very nice. I was happy for them. But boy, I would have loved to have dated him. Anyway, but the taller one, he never got my interest. And later on, I found out that, some of the things that were going on in the school, a lot of the women liked him, and he liked a lot of the women. And he would come into my office. I guess after about a year of me working there, he'd come into my office and chit chat. And then all of a sudden, he started asking for money. I'm going, what the heck is this? And this was during the time in my life where I was people pleasing, and I did have a hard time saying no early on. This was in my 20s, my early 20s. And yeah, I had a hard time saying no, and I would loan him the money, even though my gut was telling me don't do it. And he would always pay me back. And then a few months later, he'd ask for money again, saying boys will be boys. And, men like their toys. I would be looking at him, but rolling my eyes like, because I have handsome men in my family. That doesn't impress me. So maybe that's why I wasn't impressed with him. Maybe because I saw how they were treating the women sometimes. It wasn't always so nice because women were throwing themselves at them. And the same thing was happening with this young man who was, I'm sure there was a lot thrown at him. I just wasn't privy to it because my focus wasn't there. I had no interest in him. But he was dibble dabbling, I found out years later, with women that were single and women that were in relationships. But he did not dibble dabble with his brother's fiance, who eventually became the wife. So it's very interesting. There's no judgment. You attract who you're attracted to, but it is a frequency thing. There is a frequency match. So look at who you're attracting and who is attracting you. And take a look at that. Is there a frequency match or is there a belief match? But there is something that's drawing the two of you. And what is it? Because the one that I wanted of the two brothers would have been able to be a good person to date because he was interested in having one woman, while the other brother, who everybody wanted, wasn't interested in that. And it may have been the circumstances. He just had more opportunities and he was just taking them. I'm not sure. But I've always been attracted to energy. So check out who you're interested in and who's interested in you, and what frequency are you on and are they on. We have frequencies like loneliness, depression, jealousy, anger, sadness, boredom, hopeful, optimistic, loving, happy, all kinds of energies of frequencies, all kinds of layers of frequencies. What frequency is bringing you to this person and this person to you? It could be a thought, feeling, emotion, a belief, a program. I am definitely attracted to energy over how people look, while my brother is clearly attracted to how people look over their energy. And he even told me that one time. There were two women that were in his life, and he wanted to make a choice to pick one, the one that he was going to be with most of the time. And he picked the one that was the most beautiful, the one with the longest hair, the biggest hourglass figure. I didn't even ask him, but he volunteered. He said, I really like the other one better. But, the one with the long hair and the big top, she would get more attention, would bring more attention to him, and so that's why he picked her. Now, she was a very nice young lady, at first at least, but she probably should have been with somebody else who wanted to be with her based on her insides and her outside. Anyway, interesting. If you are struggling with relationships, with yourself, with others, and which can create some negative mind chatter, and you want to quiet that, my book, You're Not Going Crazy, 101 Ways to Quiet Your Inner Critic is available. You can see the link in the description. And may it help you with your relationship with yourself and with your relationship with other people. Until tomorrow, I'm going to keep it short. This is a busy day on my end, and have a wonderful rest of your day. It's Carol at True Self Unmasked. Bye.